Hey, David Judge here, and today we're going to discuss how to integrate a VA into your team. Yeah? Cool. So let's make some presumptions. Let's presume for a moment that you've actually decided you want a VA and you're either using a service to manage a VA like mine, or you're going out there and finding a VA for yourself and you're wondering exactly how you're actually going to integrate them into your team. Now, for a lot of businesses, this step that we're talking about right now is the most important stage, as it can be the make or break for the VA in your business, as you may be either integrating them into your existing team, or you may also be like a one-man band or a sole operator, and you want to make sure that they're actually performing the tasks that are required for you within your business. So let's break this down into a few key areas, starting from the very beginning, what it would look like, all the way through to the VA performing like a well-oiled machine for you, and then have a look at how you can achieve that. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah? Okay, cool, excellent. Let's move on. So the first area that you should cover is to mention it to your existing team. Actually let them know that this is what's actually happening. And this is important, as I've come across it where people haven't been aware of it and you haven't actually received any acceptance or ownership. Now, if you're a one-man band, this is an optional extra, because if you were to mention it to yourself, you'd just be sitting there talking to yourself, which is okay, because I do that sometimes too. Anyway, moving on. When you talk to your team, I would always position at the very beginning how they're going to integrate to make sure you're getting the maximum buy-in, at the same time helping each relevant team member in their mind to start thinking how it is they're going to assist with the upskilling of that new team member. Yeah? In a lot of ways, a VA is there to actually support your existing team so they can focus on other return on investment tasks, the stuff that yield the real profit and margins and turnover. And it's important to convey that to your existing team so they understand that's the purpose of them coming into your business. Okay, the second area is to confirm the tasks that you would actually like them to perform in advance. And I've actually created a video previously that you can access here, where I actually go through and share with you how you can identify the best tasks for a VA to perform within your business. Now, if you follow that first step, your team member can help you to flag all these different areas for you as well. And this also allows you to understand the full series of tasks you'll have your VA complete at the very beginning, rather than creating tasks to keep them busy as you scramble along. Now remember, we want to focus on those tasks that are going to help offer that best return on investment for your team members or for yourself. So you want to make sure that you're focusing on flagging those tasks so your team members and yourself can go out there and do the other things that are going to help bring in the revenue. Number three is to identify who will be upskilling your VA in the different tasks. Now, this is where you take the tasks you've decided you would actually like a VA to perform, and you set up an action or training plan to get your VA to actually be upskilled in those areas. Now, we found that it usually works best to have a single point of contact working within the upskilling process to ensure you receive one clear, concise message, and you don't have one person saying one thing and another person contradicting and going against it, for example. At this stage of the process, if you employ a VA through a service like mine, we actually go through and we identify the tasks that we will upskill your VA around, as we have a substantial support team, and then any other additional tasks that we would be unable to upskill them around, and we arrange for you to be able to continue to upskill them around those areas. And this will, at this stage as well, you may also choose to delegate another team member you'd have going through and upskilling for you. Okay, number four is to break those tasks into weekly and monthly buckets. Now, you can use this step to actually ensure the tasks are getting done at the right times, and this is actually one of the most important steps, going and planning in advance the tasks that you want to have done and when you want to have them done. Now, this is actually really, really simple, and at the same time, like I said, it's really critical to ensure your VA is performing within your business. And on the flip side, once you actually have this set up, you can use this step to ensure your VA is completing each of the required tasks weekly and monthly to the required spec and the required time. So making sure they're getting it completed within the required spec and the required time frame. Now, number five is to invest the time at the very beginning. Now, this is actually an extension of number 3 and 4, where you flag the task and who will actually upskill your new team member. And now what you're actually going to do is you're going to help it to all come together by investing a little bit of extra time in the upskilling, troubleshooting, and the communication with your new team member. So it's really important to make sure that you are investing that time. Now, number 6 follows on perfectly from number 5, which is to stay in touch. Yes, once you've gone through all the steps, establishing the foundation and upskilling your VA, then it's important to ensure that you're actually staying in contact with them. Now, this is my personal favorite, and the way that I like to stay in contact with them is using this old-fashioned thing called two-way communication or voice communication, also known as talking to each other. Now, I actually find a really quick 10-minute conversation is the equivalent of half a dozen two-way emails and can overcome any potential miscommunications when you're talking directly with each other. Now, I like to stay in contact with my team members a minimum once a week, and as I mentioned, I actually like to do the same thing I actually recommend the same thing with every client, is because I find this continues to help your actual VA to stay aligned to your business goals, objectives, and to make sure they've completed the required tasks the way that you've actually asked them to complete them. Now, number 7, and the last point, is to assign and align with your team. Now, as your VA is upskilled, you want to ensure they are seamlessly working within your existing team, offering access to the same softwares that will allow your VA to work within your team, within that environment. Now, if there are ever any security concerns that you may have, you can set up a program like TeamViewer on a terminal that's actually sitting in your office, a terminal being a computer that sits in your office that allows your VA to connect to that computer locally and work as if they were sitting actually in your office. Now, this also allows your team member to complete local tasks like mail merges and printing of double-sided documents for you to send out or drop off directly to leads locally or to send out to a person locally. So that's it. So there we have it, the 7-step process to integrating a VA into your team. And I can tell you, I've used the same process, these same 7 steps over and over and over again when everything lines up great. Like I've noticed I've used these 7 steps. And it's the most important way of making sure you're getting the most out of your VA and also helping them to integrate within your team. It's really, really important. Okay, great. Let's wrap up. In the next session, we're going to discuss the specific tasks that a VA cannot perform, is unable to perform in your business. This will be an interesting conversation where we discuss the key areas that we've found the VAs are not able to perform within a business and other tasks the VA can, but will need guidance around or will need additional assistance. If you have a question you'd like me to answer, make sure you get in contact with me and I would love to hear from you. And as always, this is David Judge talking outsourcing and showing businesses how to work smarter.